back with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be doing the trending water nail design. I've been seeing these nails a lot, and today we're here with one of my returning clients and we're going to be trying these out today. I did really enjoy doing them, and I did have to be very gentle on my client's nails because it looked like she might have popped her nails off. So when I was using my sanding band, I was being extremely gentle on the free edge of her nails. Currently, I'm using a 180 grit sanding band to go across my client's natural nails, and I do also get really close to the cuticle area using this drill bit to start to push that skin back just a little more. My client did have a lot of cuticle growth on her natural nails, so I did want to make sure that we got all of that up. We want a very flawless cuticle application later on, so I do need to make sure that all of this is pushed back as far as possible before I start to remove any dead skin. The cuticle nippers that I'm using today, I did get them from Amazon, and I did leave this part in real time so that you guys could see how gentle I'm being when I'm removing the dead skin. Making sure that I'm not nipping any living tissue, and anything that's sticking out is what I'm going to be removing. Alright y'all, so I've been going for kind of a different look when it comes to my work, and I decided to use these square nail tips today. Now I see nail techs use these nail tips all the time, but I always felt like when I used them, I wasn't really getting the results I wanted, so I decided to take a leap of faith today and try this again. I do feel like back then my application was smooth, but I could have made the nails much thinner, and I do feel like that has something to do with why I wasn't liking how they were coming out. So today I'm going to show you guys what I did differently, and I actually really enjoyed doing these nails. The last couple times I've seen them, I was kind of on edge about them, but I had a really good feeling today, and my client really liked them when I showed her the photos. I was leaving the nail tips this shape, but I did want to go ahead and kind of get those sidewalls extra crispy because I was recording content as I was recording this YouTube video. For prep, of course, we need these nails to last as long as possible. I tell you guys all the time, I'm able to get my clients' nails to last 4+ weeks. And first, I'm going in with my dehydrator. This dehydrator is literally just alcohol. And next, I'll be going in with my Young Nails Protein Bond and my No Lift Primer. This is the combo I use on all of my clients, and I highly recommend it. Right before I did these nails, I did watch a TikTok. I wanted to make sure I did them exactly how I've been seeing everybody else do them. So we're first going to be going in with this jelly polish. I did get this jelly polish from a cart, and I got the pack off of Amazon. They came in about a pack of maybe 6, and I do really like them. I actually do have a video up here of me using them if you guys are interested in seeing how they work. I'm applying this jelly polish only to the nail tip. When I'm finished with doing this, I am going to allow this to cure for 60 seconds in my gel lamp. And I thought about doing 2 coats of the jelly polish, but in most videos I only seen them do 1, so I didn't want to risk anything. You're gonna see me bounce between nails because I wanted to make sure that nothing was dripping off on the sides. The first time I went over the nails, I did feel like I applied a little bit too much gel polish, just moving fast. So I did want to go back and make sure that nothing was dripping so that when I put this in the lamp, they don't come out all lumpy. So I did want to get a little up close right here. What you guys see me applying to the nails now is a mixture between white gel polish and clear top coat. I placed about an even amount of the clear and the white gel polish. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too clear. I still want to make sure that you're able to see the white. So I will not be curing this just yet. I'm going to get my dotting tool and some clear gel polish and start to make the bubbles on top of this nail. And I would go in with pretty small dots. It is going to start to spread, which I feel like is kind of better because it really gives it that bubble look. But I really tried my best to not pick up a large amounts of gel polish. I do not want this to continue to spread when I'm finished, so once I was done with one nail, I made sure she put her nail in the lamp for about 10 seconds just to flash cure it, and then I moved on to the next nail. Same thing for here. I'm going to make sure that I clean up those side walls, and then I'm going to go right back in with the dotted tool and the gel polish and start to make the bubbles. When I seen the original picture of these nails, it was really giving me a beach vibe, so I did want to add some little starfish. But I knew for a fact that I was not going to try to do any 3D starfish on top. I thought about it, but I had to be realistic. I've never done that before. So we wasn't going to be taking those type of risks today. So I did get these cute gold starfish from Amazon. They came in like a little pack and it was different stars and moons, starfish, seashells. So I am going to link those down below, and I'm making sure that these stick down with some clear acrylic powder. For my application, I did place a clear bead of acrylic on the natural nail before going in with Perfect Nude from Valentino. I've said this plenty of times before. I do really like their cover colors, but I'm really not too much of a fan of their other colors. After placing my first bead, I made sure that my acrylic powder was touching both side walls before I started to blend my powder down. And you guys are going to see me take the tip of my brush and wipe across the nail tip. This was because I did not want there to be too much of a deep ombre going on. I still wanted you to be able to see the bubbles and to be able to see the starfish. I am cleaning up as I go. These are nails that we're going to have to encapsulate later. So I really was trying my hardest not to make this too thick. I did not want the nude acrylic powder to be too thick, so I was working in much smaller beads. For the cuticle application, I am striving for a very seamless application, so I do make sure that my acrylic powder is just a little wet, not runny, but also it's not going to dry too quickly. I was able to get the acrylic powder to flow nicely into the cuticle area without spilling it over, and if for any reason it does spill, you could always go back and clean it up. This right here looks really good, but what I don't like is that you could easily see where the blue polish starts, and I'm not too much of a fan. So I did place a very small bead right where I wanted the ombre to continue, and very lightly I'm going to start to blend this down. Once I got my ombre exactly how I wanted it, I did start to encapsulate this nail with my clear acrylic powder. This acrylic powder is from Mia's Secret, and I'm being very gentle, and I didn't pick up too much of a large bead. Even though the application was thin, of course, the nude part was a little thicker, so my main focus was adding that thickness to the free edge and making sure I don't make the apex area too high. For the cuticle bead, I did pick up a much smaller bead, and I made sure that the cuticle bead was nice and flush to the acrylic powder that was already there before I started to lightly bring this down. And you guys can see how gentle I'm being. This is in real time, and you do want to make sure that you start to pull down from the bottom of the acrylic and then start to make your way up. Remember that if needed, you can always go back in with some more acrylic powder. I was doing that right here because I felt like you could still kind of see where I placed that blue gel polish. And I said this before, I really do not like that. Since we're here and these nails are zoomed in like this, I want to just pat myself on the back for this flawless application. Like, I really, really like how the cuticle application looks. I feel like it does make a very large difference in how your work looks. And it took me a little minute to perfect that. Like, I always wasn't as close to the cuticle area as I would like to be. But if you are having this issue, I would just work in smaller beads. You don't always have to do things in 3 beads or do things traditionally. Do what makes you comfortable and do what you feel is best at the moment. As I'm finishing up this application, y'all know I always have something to talk about. When I was doing these nails, I remembered when I first started doing nails, and I was in New York. It was summertime. I was on my vacation out of state, and I was at my grandmother's house doing nails outside. Now, I really was trying to save money on acrylic powder. Like, I felt like I kept trying brands that were marbling or that I didn't like. So I was trying to figure out how I could make my own. So I ran across another nail tech, and at that time we were about the same age. Maybe she was a little younger. But I was one asking her about the acrylic powder, and I was also asking her, how do I get much closer to the cuticle when I'm working? So she asked me to send her a couple pictures of my work. So I was sending her a couple pictures, and I was definitely expecting some criticism, but I felt like she was just tearing me apart. She's like, "Yeah, like I know your nails be breaking. I just know they break. Like, look at the structure." I'm like, "I don't have problems with my clients' nails breaking. Why is she being so aggressive?" I was just confused. And she just completely, like, I don't want to say she just completely forgot what we were talking about, but she just started kind of like dragging me. Like, she was like, "Yeah, like the cuticle application is just horrible." She didn't even state how to fix it. She started like screenshotting and circling things and zooming in and kind of pointing out what was wrong, but wasn't really telling me how to fix it. So after that happened, I really did steer away from DMing and messaging other nail techs because, like I said, of course I was looking for some criticism, but I said, "Ooh, girl, like you didn't have to do that." We weren't really going back and forth about it, but I was starting to get a little hostile because that just really wasn't the response I expected, at least not in that manner. And because that happened, when I started my YouTube channel, I would let you guys know, like, hey, if you ever have any questions, feel free to DM me. Like, my DMs are open. I know how it feels when you have questions and you're really just, not sure who to go to, not sure who to ask, not sure who you could trust. And that's really how that started. And that's also kind of another reason why I started my YouTube channel. Like, I really just wanted to be able to help beginner nail techs that was in the same position as me, looking for YouTube videos, but maybe they weren't detailed enough, maybe they weren't zoomed in enough, or maybe you just wasn't really feeling the art style. So when I started my YouTube channel, my main focus was to make sure that I could help other people just like I needed help. And now that I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers, I'm just kind of sitting back like, I think I accomplished my mission. I think I was maybe I was like 18, turning 19 when I said that. And I was like, okay, like, I actually really do think I want to help other people because I knew how it felt to be a beginner and to really not have anybody to ask anything. Moving moving on, I am going to start to seal the cuticle now. Y'all seen how the application was? It was very, very smooth. I really didn't spend too much time using my e-file, and I did later start to use my hand file. But for now, I am sealing the cuticle. I'm getting as close to the skin as possible without nipping my client. My drill bit is not going too fast, but I'm also being extremely careful, especially when I'm in the sidewall area and anything that's close to the skin. Right here, we do have another close up, and at this point, I was not too sure if I wanted to do these nails matte or glossy. We was trying to decide, but later on, I was like, all right, I think these are gonna look best glossy. But y'all can't tell me looking at it right here, it's not tempting. It's definitely giving like vacation. I'm gonna need to do my nails like this for my vacation. When I'm filing the sidewalls, I am making sure that my hand file is hugging against the sidewalls. I'm gonna need these as straight as possible. And when I'm finished, I'm gonna make sure that the free edge is straight and also that I start to file the surface of these nails. So when you're doing this, even if you're using your e-file or if you are using your hand file like I am to file the body of the nail, make sure that you're being cautious because if the application wasn't thick, you may accidentally file away some of the starfish. Before I start to buff these nails, I did want to give my nails that nice C-curve look. So I am very gently going underneath the nail tip. And I'm also going to go over the cuticle area just one more time. Now it is finally time for us to draw the flowers. Now I did have my client wash her hands really quickly before we top coated these nails. And I'm also using D&D's matte top coat. We're only using the matte top coat because I really wanted to see how these nails were going to look glossy. And I also wanted to see if we were going to later want to paint them matte again. But we decided to leave them glossy as you guys could see in the thumbnail. These flowers were actually really easy to draw. I probably watched 2 TikToks and got to drawing these flowers. So I'm first using my dotting tool and I'm going to create 3 little dots, 2 right next to each other and 1 on top of them both in the center. And I'm going to do this 5 times going in a circle. Try your best to make a perfect circle when you're doing this. There was a couple times I did have to start over because the flower was a little lopsided. To make the petals, I am going to start from the outer side of the petal and then slowly just make my way in, creating these very fine lines. So I did want to add some rhinestones to these nails. So I am using my Macart Diamond Gel in the center of the flower with a very small dot of glue. And I'm going to place my Priosa crystals in the center of the flowers. With this diamond glue, you will have to cure it for 60 seconds before moving on. And once I finish curing the diamonds, I did go ahead and top coat these nails using my D&D top coat. As I'm finishing these up, y'all let me know down below if you've tried this trend so far and how you feel about these nails, because I actually really do like them. And of course, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys how they turned out after the top coat and the oil.